Okay, on this one, we're going to look at some more factoring. You are going to get burned out on factoring so quick. All right, so if you'll notice on this one, the thing that's different here is that the number out front is no longer a 1. The examples we did earlier, the number out front was just a 1, okay? Wasn't even there. So this is, you can't always do this, but a lot of times you can. You'll notice that, all three of these numbers, the 3, the 9, and the 30, 3 will go into all of them, okay? And so that tells you, this is something that you always want to look for. You want to look and see if they all have a common factor, like if 2 goes into all of them or 6 goes into all of them. In this case, 3 goes into all of them. In this case, well, you can always divide something by 1, or you can always divide something by -1. But by convention, it just makes it a lot easier if you'll factor out this this negative sign out here, okay? I'm actually going to do this example first. So because they all have a 3, I'm going to factor out the GCF. I'm going to factor out a 3. So if I put a 3 on the outside of the parentheses, I'm going to take away a 3 from all of these. So divide them by 3. So 3x squared divided by 3 is just x squared. 9x divided by 3 is 3x. And then, 30 divided by 3 is 10. So minus 10. All right. So I took out the greatest common factor, and now I'm going to factor this part in parentheses. I'm going to factor it further. So we already have a 3 on the outside, and now I'm going to factor it into 2 binomials, these 2 factors here. Now, I need to find 2 numbers that multiply to 10, and they subtract to 3. So they multiply to 10, and they subtract to 3. That's got to be a 5 and a 2. This tells me different signs, 1 plus, 1 minus. This tells me that the bigger number is positive. So I'm going to put a positive on the 5 because it's bigger, and a negative on this one. And this is our factored form. Okay. I need to mention here, these factors, these are linear factors. That just means that the highest degree term is a 1. So this is x to the first power, x to the first power. And they're also binomials. We started with 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, and now the factors are linear binomials, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2 terms. So on this one, I'm going to factor out a -1. So I'm going to put a negative out here, or you can put the 1 if you want to. And then we're going to divide all these by -1. All right, so this is just going to change the signs. That'll be an x squared. This will be a positive 9x, and this will be a positive 20. All right, now we're going to factor this part. Negative on the outside still. Okay, this tells me they're the same signs, so plus plus or minus minus. And this tells me that they're both pluses. 2 numbers that multiply to 20, and they add up to 9. Multiply to 20 and add up to 9. 4 and 5. Okay. One more down here. So I'm going to factor out my negative first. I want this number to be positive always. So I'll do a negative, and then I'm just going to change the signs. So x squared minus 5x minus 36. Okay, bring my negative down, and I'm going to factor this trinomial, or at least I'm going to try to. I'm going to factor it into 2 binomials, linear binomials. I need 2 numbers that multiply to 36, and they will subtract to give me 5. So they multiply to 36, and they subtract to 5. Okay, they got to subtract to equal 5. Right there, 4 and 9. They multiply to 36, and they subtract to equal 5. So 4 and 9. The bigger number needs to be negative. So different signs, and the bigger number needs to be negative. Yeah, so notice, at the beginning, it looked like they were going to be the same signs. But because of this negative, we had to factor that negative out. And then this was our new quadratic that we were factoring. And that's why they had to be different signs, because this was negative. Let's see what I got on my time here. Yeah, let me do one more real quick. I'm going to pause the video and make one. Okay, the last one here. So we're going to look for the GCF first, a common factor. 2, 18, and 36. 2 goes into all of them. So I'm going to factor out a 2. So now you're going to divide these all by 2. The way I normally do it is I say 2. I don't know why I said it different earlier, but I'll do 2 times what will give me 2x squared. That's x squared. 2 times what will give me 18x. 2 times 9x. 2 times what will give me 36. 2 times 18. Okay, that's usually the way I word them out instead of dividing them all by 2, but both are true. So now I'm going to factor this trinomial into 2 binomials. Binomial just means it's got 2 terms. Let's see, 2 numbers that multiply to 18 and they add up to be 9. So this tells us same signs. Okay, this tells us that they're both negative. So 2 numbers that multiply to 18 and they add up to be 9. 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, right there. They add up to 9. Oh, 3 and 6. And that's it. This is the factored form of that. So if you were to multiply this entire thing out, multiply those two, and then multiply it all by 2, it would give you this original.